All right. It's 10 o'clock. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. If I get up here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Did anyone care to have a public comment? Anything on public comment? You need to come in and sign the paperwork. Anyone? No one. How about anyone online? No one? Okay. Agenda? That motion to approve the agenda.
Commissioner, no changes in as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
First, do we have any discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Cleveland,
Yes.
Commissioner Warnell,
Yes.
Chairman Spiller,
Yes.
motion passes.
Consent agenda.
On the agenda for today, I have the January 14th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Or the meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda meeting minutes from January 14th, 2025.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Warnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chandler,
Yes.
Chairman Spiller,
Yes.
motion passes.
Now on to our appointments. We have a special recognition to Jim Van Loo.
So he's not online either, so I imagine he,
Didn't,
probably may cover the weather.
okay, we can postpone that until a later date.
Okay.
And for Two Peaks Fitness.
Would you like to get the hot seat?
Okay, you can be.
Yes, can you come up and state?
I'm not sure if it's actually packet or not, just in case. Next copy. So last time, commissioners, early December, we mentioned a program we've been doing with Freedom for over a year, complicated prevention. And we were invited to submit a proposal, which you have in front of you. This is Shane Foss. Shane has been running the program in the field for over a year. And so we have some preliminary numbers. I'd like Shane to kind of talk about what we've been doing.
Okay, and Levita, as everybody knows, Narcan saves lives, and we've been able to distribute Narcan for free. But on top of that, in order to really save somebody that's going through an overdose, is CPR. So what we're doing is we're offering CPR certification for free for anybody that has either a resident, business owner, employee, etc. And that's something that we'd like to do here. And we know this works. It's been helpful already. In one business in Levita, I've already had to replace some money. I don't ask questions because a lot of people still have a stigma. Some people don't want people to know about what's going on. But it has saved lives. This program really works well with family members as well as businesses such as convenience stores, bars, and restaurants. So it is a helpful program.
You want to talk about the meeting organizing?
Oh, yeah, I do have, thank you.
That was the first phase.
So, yes, I'm working on getting a presentation together. It'll be in Levita at the community center there to talk about where we are here in Huerfano County as far as the opioid crisis goes. Also what we on the ground are doing when it comes to like your EMTs or the first responders, they're there all the time. So the Narcan that we're able to give is like a 2-dose box, and it will last, I don't know, half hour to an hour, long enough for the EMTs to get there. And of course, they're the pros, let them take over. So that's part of what this presentation is not only where we are in Huerfano County, what the boots on the ground are doing, but also what is substance use disorder and its impact on our society. So that's what we're working towards, and it will be in February.
So the way this started in Levita is, well, the county, city of Walsenburg, the town of Levita, the opiate status funds. And in Levita, we're like, well, maybe we should do something for a local program. And so they put out an RFP in 2023, saying, does anyone want to come up with some sort of program to help, so we can disperse these funds in a way that would be helpful to the community. And so Shane had some experience working on that type of programming, and so that's how it's all came together in the week. And we have CPR classes. We try to do them once a month in Levita. It kind of depends on weather. And, the first one we tried to do last January, I think, 2 people showed up because it was still a blizzard. So it kind of depends. And then summertime gets, for Levita anyways, is kind of challenging because it's a tourist season. But we try to do it once a month in Levita, and
yeah, and our institute doesn't care if we have, because they can do up to 7 people. She doesn't care if we have 7 or 1. It doesn't matter. Her whole goal is to make sure people are CPR certified and they understand what overdoses look like and the measures during an emergency, what to do.
now the standard CPR class is 6 hours long. And this is a modified version because it's only up to 7 people. They're able to go through it faster. So it's not only CPR, but there's the Narcans. The standard course is CPR and first aid, but we add into it the Narcan.
Yeah, overdose awareness, what to look for, as well as, again, how to act in the emergency.
Our estimate for cost was pretty much a wild guess because we have numbers that work for Levita. We don't know how much the responsibility in Luxembourg throughout the county. We're guessing it's a lot higher.
We hope.
We're hoping it's a lot higher, but until we actually start with
We do have in place someone that is willing to just jump right in for the county and Walsenburg. As far as the coordination of the classes and getting everything.
Have you, I was gonna ask, have you done anything with CCOR, the opioid organization? They have a lot of funding for these type of programs, Crossroads, Southeast Corridor. It's a opioid. I'm on their board, or I go listen to them a lot. I guess I shouldn't say I'm on their board, but I do listen to them all the time and represent some of the things in Huerfano County. But they do have, I think this year they had $500,000 in funding for things, but they are a organization that they send out money to people like your organization would be doing, because they have Crossroads, and I had a list in my brain before I came here. But they have a bunch of places from La Junta to Otero to there's a couple of places in Los Animas, and Trinidad, Pueblo. There's quite a few. And so in the southeastern corridor type of a deal, they do have funds for that. So I'd advise you on one to definitely reach out to them, and I can get some connections for that to be able to talk to them. But I know that we had a meeting just last week and we had funded a pretty big portion of people and, you know, at $50,000 a pop and stuff like that. So it was quite a bit, but they do have some pretty good requirements on, you know, what your scope is. So what you have here is a good start on numbers, because you really need to get the idea of how many people are going to be involved, the reach, because obviously we want to be able to reach a lot of people. So get a few more numbers on your scope, you know, how many people you might be able to address, and then just have it really detailed. And I can get you in touch with, like I say, some of those people, and they might have a lot better idea of what you need to do to get that pulled together, and they may fund the whole thing. So
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
We, you know, in Levita, they've just been using the settlement funds they get, which is
okay.
much smaller amount than county gets. I don't really be giving it to the health department.
And I've been working with the substance use prevention, and they're out of the hunt. It's the consortium. It's also a state-run program. And that's where we've been able to get our Narcan for free.
Oh, okay.
So, but I've about run that course through. The last time the fellow told me that this is probably the last time we'll be able to get it for free. Prices are a lot lower than when we started. They were, when it was still a prescription, it was $90 a pop. Then it went down drastically. Now it's at 35, but that's still unaffordable for some folks. So we want to make sure that we're giving this out for free, because this isn't candy. They're not just going to take it. You know, those of you that don't know about Narcan, the only thing it does is block our brain receptors for opioids. That's the only thing it does. So if somebody's having a heart attack and you give them Narcan, there's no effect. So that's one of the nice safeguards of this prevention.
Yeah. And is it inhaler?
It is.
I've
It's the
already heard about
company
it.
put up the nose. And it only has the 2 doses in the box.
Okay.
And then the shelf life is like 4 years. So it'll last the person and say, you know, here's quarters. If nothing happens for 4 years, that's good. But then we can also replace it if it's outdated.
Nice. Yeah, well, I think it'd be $8.
I like the idea.
Yeah, it's a great program, frankly. And some of the numbers that I've seen through other counties, it's been pretty well used and received in other counties. So,
You know, it's funny, we always thought that we were pretty original with this program. And then I do a little research, and this is a very successful type of program throughout the country.
So Commissioners, I got a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
You mentioned here that the classes will be held at the community center in Walsenburg.
Actually, we do in Levita, that's where we have our CPR classes as well as the presentation. Here in Walsenburg, I'm working with some of the folks that are EMTs, and they already have a place that they do it. It may be at the community center, maybe at their ambulance barn. I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a pretty big conference room at the ambulance.
Yeah, and they told me they didn't need my TV to do their class.
So, I'm aware from, I remember correctly, I work in the fire district has someone doing CPR training, but I think, I'm not sure if they're doing the rest of the opioid training as well.
Yeah, that's a different program. What they're doing, what they're teaching is, I think what you're talking about is when they're teaching their own EMTs and such.
They are early reaching out to the community for that as well.
Okay.
CPR.
I believe that's going to be the same instructor.
Same instructor.
I believe so.
So, if you could, so my requests are 2 things. You could think of one if you want to combine together. To talk to Upward on Fire and see if you can attack your program on 2 layers or somehow work together to ensure that Gardner has access to these and for an event, or at least one event in Gardner. And the same in Kachara. I'm not sure if Levita Fire has planned or not, but to do something in Kachara as well. And then you already have Levita funding in Levita, but if there's extra resources that would be the businesses need or things like that. We could see something else happen there too, because just to cover the entire county.
Absolutely. Good.
And pool all that with, and getting with this other organization might really be able to fund even more. So I'll be able to get some more information to you. Do we want to do anything today? Any kind of motion for helping you guys on a short-term basis, or do you want to, yeah, it is.
So
Get to that, taken care of first.
you only spent, the board has only spent one time, I think it was like $12,000 out of those funds. The rest of this was sitting there.
Oh, I didn't know we still had some.
Oh, yeah, you have a decent amount, like 40-ish grand sitting. So I'd like to do something to get started, and then they can give us time to get the ball rolling and see what other funding sources and how big the program gets, and we can make this an ongoing program.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Pull them together and see if he, and that would actually help with the scope on getting the funding from that other organization as well. So it could do, because typically we like to do like a 50-50 type of a deal, an approved type program. So if you could get together with those guys and then see if you can get kind of a more cohesive measure going, and then I'll get the information for the C-Corps for you as well.
Perfect.
And then I'll move forward from there.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
We're
Do we need that in a motion?
Yeah. So I'm not sure on this. So do we want to fund this now, or we need more research first and then come back?
Well, how are you on funds now? Are you doing okay to?
Well, the funds
Kind of
that we
get the
have for this
basics.
program is specifically designed for the VA. So in order to expand, we would need to get some funds to get started.
Do you have a ballpark on numbers?
That would be in your,
Yeah, that's the
8350.
8350 just for Walsenburg, or is that countywide?
that would be Walsburg as well as County.
Okay.
That's a wild guess. It's probably very low.
Yeah.
Be a starting place though.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve 8350 for opioid settlement proposals with 2P Fitness.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? I would like to have you guys have in that approval that you get more connected with the other organizations as well. Make sure that you gotta have all cohesive plan of expanding with the people in Gardner as well. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Royal,
Yes.
Chairman Pruitt,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you, folks, very much.
Thank you for what you're doing.
You guys, good to see you again. Thank you. Thank you, Carla. Good to see you.
John, what was your name again?
Yeah, no doubt.
And so we know each other.
Oh, yes.
Good to see you guys.
It's-
Still waiting for you to get your vote. Yeah, maybe well.
Carrie, thank you for coming.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Gary.
I think I've known Shane since I was 7 years old.
No? Wow.
Maybe. Yeah.
Long time. Carrie, you want me to get a hold of you on your, just send you an email or?
Yeah, send it to me.
Oh, you want some?
I'll forward it to Shay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had yours.
The money builder?
I'm right. Watch it right now.
Sorry if anybody online had their
Oh.
speakers blown out, but
Mm,
Just like my name.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Now come to Coalition for the Unhoused. Keep trying to say.
yeah, you're gonna need that out there.
They'd remember that really quickly, yeah, as soon as they got outside. Yes.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Meese. I recently just actually moved to Huerfano County. I am the systems coordinator for Los Angeles and Huerfano County's unhoused initiatives. And so I just wanted to come introduce myself, tell you how we're getting started, and then kind of shout out Robert if I could. A little bit about me. I have worked 15 years in homelessness initiatives, everything from direct care up to program management and grant writing. I've worked with 24 of the 54 rural counties of Colorado, so my specialty is definitely rural homelessness. I was one of the first navigators to help develop the Pathways to Success intervention that helps with youth homelessness. That actually just went into its study evaluation, and so that will actually be implemented throughout the state, hopefully by 2026. So I'm really good at program management and organization of these kinds of initiatives. And so I was doing outreach for the Colorado Rural Collaborative in 2023. I came over here as I was doing outreach for youth specifically. And in Los Angeles County, I ended up at the laundromat playing phone tag with a woman named BOCC. I'm sure you guys have heard of her in some capacity. And she invited me to the first Coalition for the Unhoused meeting. So I have been involved in these conversations since the very beginning in this region. But I am excited to finally be here now. I moved here about 2 weeks ago to actually be boots on the ground working here. So one thing I want to point out for you guys is the first thing that we are doing is what is called a point in time count. This is required by HUD for any state or federal funding that goes towards unhoused initiatives. Basically what it is a snapshot of homelessness on a single night in January. So that night is going to be the 28th of this month, and we will be counting for the following days after that. For here, we are going to the community center and having a lunch on the 29th, the day after, and then I will be set up at Dorcas Circle on that Friday, and in between I'll be going to Levita, Gardner, and other areas to make sure that everyone ends up counted. And the whole goal of that is not only for the funding aspect, but this region has, in this county specifically, has been undercounted. In all the point in time counts that I can see in the history of Huerfano County, only 2 individuals have been counted. They have had issues with substance abuse and they have been veterans. So we are dealing with a different demographic here than we are in Los Angeles County, and I'm quite aware of that we will need a different approach here. But the overall goal with my position is to reach what is called functional zero. Basically, that means that although an individual may be entering into homelessness, you have the equal, if not more, individuals exiting homelessness into stable housing, permanent supportive housing, temporary housing, or some sort of shelter. And so the goal is to make it to where there's a home for everyone. And hopefully we will be doing an event where we can invite the community together and things like that in the future. But that is the goal, is to reach functional zero. Every person who experiences homelessness, they experience it from some sort of trauma, and every single person's experience is different. So a youth who was 13 ended up on the streets and is still on the streets has a different story than somebody who is 35 dealing with addiction, is a veteran on the streets. So there's a lot of nuances to this, and I'm excited to be here, but I welcome any of the questions that you guys may have around what we're doing here.
Actually, I was wondering, it's very interesting. How do you do that when you do a survey? Do you like wander around the streets and try to find people, or how does that work really?
Yeah, so for the point in time, we try to set up specific locations that people can come to, but yes, I will be going out on the streets and seeing and making sure that everybody's counted. It gets a little awkward when you're asking people like, hey, where'd you sleep last night?
Yeah.
If you don't really know them. But I've done this in multiple counties, and it's basically the point in time is an anonymous survey. They give a couple of key identifiers such as their birthday to where we get that demographic information, but not even their name goes on that list. That gives us this basic key demographics that we need for federal funding. But what we're doing with Built for Zero and trying to reach functional zero is I will actually be starting a by name list for everyone who is experiencing homelessness. So basically, once they are on that by name list, which it is a choice, once they are on that by name list, it is categorized, it is prioritized, and then we fit the best solutions for those individuals. Because right now, in this region, homelessness is very generalized. And once we start putting a name to it, and we start to each of these individuals and we start getting them housed, we're able to then start seeing progress. Because you're not going to see progress if it's like, oh yeah, maybe this person got housed, but this person is still out here being a nuisance. So, right now, we don't know what we don't know, so I can't give you the answer for what happens after this. But I just know that I do know evidence-based practices and best practices when it comes to what we will do.
I know when we have the locals kind of know where a lot of people hang out, and 2 is definitely low.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of people that you see wandering around. Interesting. That's really interesting. So what can we do to help with getting the word out on that? Basically, is one of the things that we're looking at. And
Yeah,
volunteers.
Yeah, we are currently accepting volunteers. If anybody would like to help, seems like when I'm talking to people out there, they're like, oh, I want to be a part of this. And so it's been very well received so far. So we are accepting volunteers for that. I would encourage anybody who wants to be a part of the Coalition for the Unhoused to take your time, step up, come join us in that. And then in the future, I will be coming to you for money. So just know that.
Well, I can't figure that.
Yeah, no. Just not yet.
Yes, exactly. Wow, that's very interesting. It would be nice to find out a little bit more about that. I don't know how do you do it when people are like going into other people's home, or like vacant homes or properties. So it's basically just the question whether or not they've found a place or overnight, or because I know people that have kind of wandered around, and as a fire department chair before, we had a substantial amount of buildings that were burnt because of people in weather like this starting a fire in a living room. You had to stay warm, but how do you gauge those people?
Yeah, so there's a sheltered and an unsheltered count. Every other year it's only sheltered. This year it's both. So to be considered unsheltered, it is you are currently staying in a place unfit for human habitation. So that could be an RV that doesn't even have water or electricity. So that would still consider you to be unsheltered. But if it is an adult who's couch surfing, let's say that it's 2 families that are doubled up in one home, they wouldn't be considered unsheltered for that. For youth, if they are couch surfing, they do count as unsheltered.
Okay. Interesting. Well, excellent. I appreciate you
Thank you.
coming in last time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would love to come back and give you guys my numbers after a point in time if you're open to it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes.
Perfect.
I think it's a great resource.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But even better if we
Beautiful
could
community
not have some buildings burnt down, figure out a different mode of habitation.
Yes,
That'd be great.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Chelsea. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Permits, licenses, and public hearings. Oh wait, might be different on my. The same.
Yeah, the packets in the 5 different orders referenced in this section. All right, commissioners.
Final approval of Huerfano carbon sequestration project.
Yep. So commissioners, with this application, Ray Bon Giovanni, the applicant, has requested the following, final approval of the conditional use permit pursuant to land use code section 1.06 and approval of certificate of designation pursuant to the Solid Waste Disposal Sites and Facilities Act under Title 30, Article 20, Parts 1 and 2, to operate a wood barrier operation as part of a carbon credit offset program. Untreated wood would be buried on a roughly 17-acre portion of the parcel in phases, with each phase containing roughly 2 acres, which pits of up to 20 feet in depth would be dug and in which wood would be buried. Buried wood will be monitored for carbon or methane emissions. The site is addressed at 1940 County Road 351. Parcel number is 41244. Wood burial will be considered landfill, so this is regulated through a state of Colorado certificate designation and a state of Colorado environmental covenant. In your packet, you will find a list of attachments. After the staff report, you have a copy of the signed conditional use permit, which particularly the conditions listed on there are: 1, the CUP is not active until final approval of language for the easement, bond, and environmental covenant is approved by the county attorney. CUP is only active if state permits are concurrently valid and active. The material buried is limited to untreated wood products. Excavations will be done quickly while materials are being buried, not to exceed 2 weeks at a time, weather dependent. Upon capping, burial sites will be revegetated. Require a preliminary and annual weed surveys while burial project is ongoing and for up to 5 years after the final phase is complete, or until the Knox's weed manager determines natural vegetation has been reestablished. And lastly, produce a performance bond for reclamation and weed management to the county to be issued for each phase of operations and amount to be determined based on the capping and reclamation costs with a pre and post inspection. So commissioners, with that, after you find the CUP, you'll find the letter recommending approval of the certificate of designation from the state, the engineering design and operations plan. Then you'll find the notice of environmental use restrictions for this project. The easement agreement follows that, followed by the CDPHE approval of the closure and post-closure financial plan. So commissioners, in lieu of a bond, they have submitted this this closure and post-closure financial plan. The attorney has reviewed it. Basically, it's up to you if you want to accept that, or if you would, or prefer that they issue a bond in some amount. After the CDPHE approval letter, you have the financial closure plan itself. And then last but not least, you have the financial model over the 8 years of revegetation planning and then cost ongoing for maintenance and inspections.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to approve land use permit 23-015 with the following conditions, that he is subject to inspections yearly for weed mitigation, and that we authorize the county administrator to also finalize issuing of a bond, or at least half the bond of $3,500 for re-vegetation purposes.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioners, before we call for a vote, one thing.
Sure.
If we could add on there, motion for me to, if there's any conditions that either the state or our staff feels need to be added, I can add those to the draft and present back to you next week.
I'd like to make a motion to amend my amendment to authorize the county administrator to, and staff to make changes to the conditions as needed to be finalized next week.
Second.
And do we have to wait for Nate's approval?
I'll work with him. He's good with what's been presented so far, but I'll try to do with him about any changes and make sure he's still good.
First and second, those additions. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chairman Sport,
Yes.
motion passes. All right. All right, Commissioners, so I have for you a request from Dr. Wellman for the Department of Human Services to be able to have overtime for their assistance payments unit. They are working on hitting the timeless metrics, and having some extra total time this time of year would help them be able to get that accomplished in a timely fashion to meet their goals.
I make a motion to accept, approve the Department of Human Services request for overtime.
I'll second the motion.
First and second, any discussion?
Being a previous employee over there, I do know how rough it is when it gets to this point in time. So yes, I do believe that it is a valid request.
They have it in their budget.
Yes.
Call for the vote.
All right, Commissioners Wardell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Sport,
Yes.
motion passes. All right, Commissioners, next I have for you a grant administration service agreement between Huerfano County and Southern Colorado Economic Development District. So, Commissioners, this agreement is something that Kim and I have asked Ed to prepare for us. They're going to help us out with certain grants and the grant paperwork that goes along with it. Manage to make sure we keep up with things and to help us close out a lot of grants. We have a few more grants right now. And it'd be helpful to have some extra eyes on some things and to help them facilitate getting them done. Also, the chance for our staff to learn a little bit more about grant management process and things like that. So SCED would charge the county $40 an hour for these services. Other than that, it's a pretty standard contractual agreement. SCED, we might have to issue SCED a county email address for this, or group, something like that, in order for them to be able to log into accounts for the federal government, so that as the county representative. But other than that, and the $40 per hour, it's a very straightforward and fairly direct personal services agreement. And if you guys are okay with it, I'd request that we cap this at $5,000. That's what's written into the agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant administration service agreement between Huerfano County and the Southern Colorado Economic Development District, and the amount not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
First and second, any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier,
Yes.
motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you a request to accept a Colorado Tourism Office marketing grant. The Huerfano County Tourism Board applied for a Colorado Tourism Office marketing matching grant in fall of 2024. And the BOCC approved that application, and CTL subsequently awarded to the county. We request that a motion to accept the award in the amount of $29,984.66 for the purpose of creating new audiovisual marketing materials supporting the county's tourism industry.
And our match is the 15,000.
Correct.
That was gonna be my question.
Sorry to beat you.
Sorry.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to accept the Colorado Tourism Office Marketing Grant in the amount of $29,984.66 for the purpose of creating new audiovisual marketing materials supporting the county's tourism industry.
Second.
First and a second. Any other discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Royal,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spillier.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Commissioner, next to have you your vendor run for this week. This is mostly prepaids and things that you're catching up from the end of the year. Generally speaking, these will come every other week and not every week. But this one is in the total amount of $243,589 and $599.33.
Kind of hard to read that.
Yeah, it's easier to read it on the last page than it is on the first.
What page is the last page?
Let's have the last page. Let's do it. Never mind. Let's come to something interesting here.
So I'm not seeing that number.
I was gonna ask on one of those, but I can't find it right now. Do you remember on the SO and the Salone? That's bless you. The $8,749. Was that going to be one of the final ones for that Solano case?
Yes, so that is,
Oh, the drafting. Yeah, the drafting.
yeah, on page 142.
Yeah.
That, I believe that is the final invoice from the filing of the sheriff's appeal to the Supreme Court. Let me find that invoice real quick to double check that.
That I have another question. Who's Placer Labs? Which one is?
That's me, that's tourism, that's the data that we have access to, the geolocation data to see visitation trends and where people have gone.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's also the final year of that contract, so it's the final end of two, unless we decide to renew and keep it until 26.
Okay. Didn't realize that was who we were going through there.
Okay. Yes, so this should be the last one of these until the court rules. I imagine there will be some payments from the wrap up of our case with Solano. Got to do some filing with the district court to actually finish closing out all the orders. So they're cascading, closing out of orders. But obviously that will take very long, it'll be very much. So if the Supreme Court denies this petition, we will more than likely be done with these are cost, not money after that, so.
That would be nice.
Yep. This is coming out of the sheriff's budget, not coming out of our budget anymore.
Did you say what page the fund totals were? For the number you,
So this report is a little different than what I'm used to seeing. Which it might just be that this is, this report has.
One total of 147, but that's,
yeah,
I'll
that's
think
not the
that's
number.
it.
underneath.
yeah.
It's happening. Okay, that's what's wrong. We had 2 separate runs. What are they doing?
Hmm.
Okay. We're not doing this every summer again.
Hmm.
This should be separate action items. Okay.
Is there more than 2?
I think that there are 3. My computer is struggling. I don't know what's through. I'm trying to get cover them all these runs. Why these are different runs, I have no idea.
Well, one was supposed to be from last week, remember? We got approved the amount, but then it was gonna come through the meeting this week. Jim had said it was like an additional 10,000 or something.
Yes.
So there was that. It was gonna be added to this week's finger run. But it got approved last week.
Oh, yeah. I
I
remember
remember
that. Yeah.
So that's probably why it might look a little weird.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so the total amount that I have here is $162,508.19.
So I have 2.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Okay, I missed with it because I
Okay, I
have
had-
47, 942.
Well, that's actually $1 off, but that could just be.
So we'll go with your YouTube number. So you got the,
Oh, is that final number, Robert?
I had 162,508.19.
I had 507. I'm not sure how I did that. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve this week's vendor run in the amount of $162,508.19.
Second.
first and second, any discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Kimball,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chairman Sport,
Yes,
motion passes.
you went to 08, right?
Oh, wait, yeah.
508.
Is that what I said? Okay.
All right, Commissioner, let's have your request from Huerfano County Economic Development for $5,302.88 to support the facade and lighting improvement project at 609 Main Street. The HED, this is part of a request that previous board sort of asked them to do or something like that line. I don't remember exactly where this came from, but it came from, I think Eric had spoke to them about the lighting on Main Street. We talked about doing this project, the wheelhouse, and also doing something at 611 Main, that's our building.
That's the
Here's the building. So, what is your pleasure?
Well,
Let's put one on the white.
yeah, let's have the lighting.
Yeah.
And our thoughts on the list, buddy. Now, they had said in there about, they're thinking to try to buy the building, correct? So then it wouldn't be, anybody
Yes,
have any idea how that's going?
I think it's still aspirational at this point. I'm not sure they secured any funds towards the actual purchase of the building. Like the last time I got an update, Carrie and Lola working on like putting together a list of grant applications to go to spend for to try to secure the grant. They did apply for directly electric spending, the last cycle of that, but, yeah, so maybe they're moved on from that to trying to get private foundation dollars.
Okay. Well, I have a real problem with putting that much money into a building that's.
Do you know if, they ever looked into the solar lighting system that we had sent them?
They had already purchased the track lighting system.
So it wouldn't be compatible to do any of that. Great. That,
So that's why there's 3,000 in here for electrical work. So that those the future things they had, they already purchased those.
This is to get electrical from probably the back of the building to the front.
So we look at,
Circuit.
it's not quite to the back of the building, I think, but we look at 156. Actually, I'm actually wrong for the panel, so it might be from the back of the building.
Yeah.
Look at page 156. You have the signs of goosenecks for the kind of request, the freight for the bracket and the track lighting, all of which they've already purchased. And then you have the benches, installation of the benches, electrical work, which is half split with the request from the URA. The PEX tuning, the materials for that, another $1,025, 70 bucks for a city walls for design permit, and $38 for painting.
that morphed into quite a lot larger.
That is generally how these things happen, how they occur. They, so it's an innocent, very simple request, and then it balloons.
I was gonna say, how did we go from some light to,
Few $100 in, solar light.
Yeah.
To. Almost $9,000.
Yes, I regretted the can of worms after I told them about, the board just wants to know what it would take to do this. Is like a whole can of worms opened up.
Not with gold leaf on the.
I don't think intentionally so, but there's this whole thing about we already paid for it and this and that, and
So I know I'm a little late to the table on this whole thing because it started way before I came to the table. But yeah, that seems a lot, and I don't know if they had permission to start purchasing stuff already, or do they operate on a separate?
So nonprofit economic development, not controlled by the county. They purchased these things thinking they could be reimbursed from the EDA grant. EDA said this and this, yes, but these other things, no. That's why you have that column from the EDA section there. Yes. So one of these is actually 50-50. It should be 80-20 there, but we can fix that later. So yeah, it's interesting categories.
Yes.
Building is properly owned, it's not owned by company owned, it's not owned by the county.
who owns it?
Mary Ann Smithy, same person we bought 611 from.
And did you say, what did you say the percentages for EDA was? It should have
80%,
been 80.
yeah, 80% EDA, 20% county. So I might want to go clarify that a little bit there, but yeah,
Well, I don't think we should get that.
do you want to hold this, maybe we can have a meeting with HCD about the entire project and get you guys up to speed on it?
Yes, that sounds wonderful.
I'll make a motion to table this,
Yeah, because there's way too many.
to talk to economic development about this.
Second.
First and second. Any other discussion or rants? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Chairman Spiller,
Definitely.
motion passes.
Table.
All right, commissioners, next I have for you, your 2023 financial statements. So I'm gonna start with this. Doing an audit, the first time with a new auditor, is fun. The county has had the amazing experience of now having one department or another do a brand new audit for the first time, auditors, not 3 times in a row. The first time, Vicky was here, she was let go during the audit, so I had to finish it. Year 2 was Kim's first year, and she had to go through the pain of learning how the other one's done, getting it done. And then this past year, Karina had to have that fun herself. It continues to be a bit of a mess, mainly because if we get the audit done before, at the very least, everything sort of cascades as far as not having the solid numbers for the basis to doing the budget with bad numbers to now you have to now that once you get the final audit, your budget isn't right, and going back and redoing the budget is necessarily a feasible thing at that point either. I say that to say there are 2 findings in here. If you go to scroll it. All right. So, the audit actually found there's no issues with any major programs or anything like that. Nothing wrong with the accounting for federals or anything things like that that they're checking for. But they did find that our internal controls could use some updated. Good news is, most of these are updates that we've already made. That section. Just unity. But
You want the page when you find it? Let me know the page. Or do you have it?
Page 227 of your books. So the first finding, 2023-001, is that basically says that DHS needs to, the agents in the treasurer's office need to reconcile their cash better and more frequently. This isn't really a reflection of even the current DHS. When they stepped in, things were more than a bit of a mess. They were missing some key information. They did their best to figure it out, but basically, the reconciliation needs to be done a little bit, needs to be done better. But I said, it's not a function on creating anyone like that. They walked into a bad situation and made the best of it. The other is on financial reporting. Um, when the audit takes as long as it did, it's a sign that everything wasn't together beforehand. Because of the way the county's books work, we have 3 sets of books. We have a set of books for the treasurer's office, that those are our cash books. We have a set of books for the county finance office. Those are the county's general ledger, the primary books of the county, what is actually getting audited. And then we have DHS's financial records, which are a separate system, which again, part of the county's primary financial records, also including the same audit. So by having the 3 instead of the usual 2 set of books to work with, it gets to be a bit of a mess. If everyone's not on the same page. And when we had Ron Farmer, it's the longest everyone was on the same page because no one in any of the roles, the auditor, the county finance, the treasurer, the foremost, and DHS, they're all the same people almost every year. For a couple of decades at the very least. So things work smoothly. County finance leaves, the auditor retires, DHS has turnover, all that balance is now lost, and the way we did things is lost. So, to say, we need to find a way to get all 3 sets of books to make sure they agree on a monthly basis. That is part of the internal controls we passed last year, right after Mitchell joined the board. But there's still more work to do. Switching to Tyler will help us out a lot. I think we'll all actually be in one system.
That should help a
For
lot.
the first time ever. Well, not the treasury office, but DHS in the county. And the treasurer stuff, I think we're all pretty decent at doing the reconciliation between her office and our offices. Except that we don't get information back like reconciling checks and things like that. So we need to make sure that that's happening. So there's a lot of little things that once we're in a different system, we'll be able to do a little bit differently. That's why with Tyler, we purchased all the cash management portions of that accounting system so that we can basically replicate what the treasury office is doing, make sure that we are reconciling checks, that we are tracking balances of bank accounts, things like that in that system, to make sure that we're doing more than just my total equals your total.
Okay.
So, more work. You guys should keep track of these things. And should catch up where we are on these things because they are very important to the county's overall financial position. And we might ask one of you to sit on the audit committee to help be the glue. Because sometimes they're a little turf wars. But yeah.
I'm willing to be the glue.
Okay. So yeah, we'll probably get started in February, March.
Okay.
With all the stuff from the auditor, the list of things he wants. Doesn't change much from year to year, but I'd like to have it in front of me or list in front of us
Okay.
before it gets charged too much. Okay. That one doesn't really require a motion. If you want to do a motion, you can to accept the audit. Up to you guys. You've already submitted it to the state and such, so in the feds.
Yes,
Sam first.
make a motion to accept the audit.
I'll second it.
First and second. Any other discussion? Vote.
Commissioner Bell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chin,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
motion passes. All right, Commissioner, next I have for you the treasurer's semi-annual report. From July 1st through until 31st, 2024.
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's annual report.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Do we have any other further discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Chairman Spooner,
Yes.
motion passes. All right, and then I have the treasurer's annual report from July 1st, December 31st, 2024. One thing you might notice if you look at the grand totals, the semi-annual report versus the annual report. Worth remembering that your revenues come in the first part of the year. February, March, April is when the biggest chunk of the county revenues come in. And everything else sort of tags along after that.
We have a motion.
My computer did something weird. Which one are we working on now? July 1st through December 31st?
January 1st.
January 1st. Okay. All right. Come on. Good. Okay, there. Okay, so I make a motion to accept the annual county treasurer's report, January 1st, 2023, or through December 31st, 2024.
Second.
First and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Commissioner Waddell,
Yes.
Commissioner Chamberlain,
Yes.
Chairman Spooner,
Yes.
motion passes. And that is the end of action items.
And correspondence.
All right, first up, I have the Navajo Western Water District 2025 Special District Transparency Notice. These are required to be sent by all the special districts, the Title 32 special districts, to the counties, as well as posted on the Special District Association website. They basically inform people of when the board meetings are, who the point of contacts are, and when the next election is and who's up. After that, you have the transparency notice for the Huerfano Fire Protection District. Then you have your leave balances for the pay period ending January 11th. Then you have a technical update from CTSI, understanding workplace posters, state and federal requirements. Another CTSI technical update, the power of pooling for county success. Which lays out sort of the benefits of the county pools, of which we're a member of two. CWCP, workers' compensation, and CAPP, the casualty and property pool. And then the third CTSI technical update is on cybersecurity insights, protecting information. Your CAP reports for December of 2024 are attached as well, and that is the end of correspondence.
Did we have any other training going along with that cybersecurity?
I checked with Anthony. We did finalize at the end of last year an agreement to have a validity training, part of the grant that Brittany had won. So we, I see where they are implementing that though. Oh, that's in the workshop.
I heard that.
Okay.
Or what? Go ahead.
That's all I have for you. I don't have a training report for you. And my administrative report, mostly in the meeting. But I do sometimes want to go over from our workshop this morning on appointments, make sure I have those right, and to talk about DHSCM's review of our internal controls. So we can do that after human services.
So you said we don't need executive session?
No.
Okay. Have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Call for the vote. I don't think we have to discuss.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Chairman Wood,
Yes,
motion passes.
we are adjourned. 11, according to my phone.
Does that mean